Joining me now on Skype from South Africa to discuss this issue is management consultant, CEO, Billion House Consulting, Oscar Emetue. Many thanks to you, Oscar Emetue, for joining us on this hour. What do you make of the recent strike by workers or unions of the SAA?
Yeah, it's actually unfortunate. If you ask me if anything could have been done to avert this, it probably could. The workers are feeling that the management, rather than look at the main issue for which they were actually asking for a wage review, instead said they were embarking on updating of their process, and which could lead to many job loss. So as a result, on Friday, the union decided to call for that indefinite strike. And so far, the meeting or negotiation that was held on Sunday, nothing was actually reached out. So currently, the strike is still on.
Let's look at some of the demands of the workers. They're asking for 9% wage increase. They're also asking that about 900 people who were to be laid off by South African Airways be left to continue to work. But South African Airways have said, look, they haven't made any profit since 2011. So how realistic is the demand of these unions?
Yeah, I think this is the position of the current CEO, Zokes, that they're truly asking, because if you've been following the happenings around South African Airways, they've been living or surviving on government support and funding. And I think 2011, last year, they asked for additional support, which they did. So on the part of the workers' union, I'm not in position to say how legit or credible that demand is, but I believe both parties can actually compromise, and this is where they actually need to do, because SA alone generate over plus minus 50 million rands per day, and you can imagine what happened Fridays, Saturdays, that they've stopped operation and indefinite. That is huge to the economy.
Yeah, I was going to come to that, Oscar, because again, let me correct myself. It's not 9% wage increase. It is 8% wage increase. But let's look at the fact that you just said that the airline is losing about 50 million rands per day, which is equivalent to about $3.36 million per day.
Yes.
They are also, these unions also constitute the largest more than half of the workforce of SAA. This could lead to the collapse of SAA, can't it?
Yes, actually, that's what the NUMSA, which stands for National Union of Metals Workers of South Africa, that's actually what they are looking at right now. They're beginning to form some allies with other unions just to make sure they hold the economy ransom. But again, like we said, and in the position of the CEO, both parties really need to come to a compromise, because they're actually asking for 8%, but that is really not realistic, considering the position that SA Airways have been asking for funding for as long as you can remember. Since 2011, they've never declared profit. So you can look at it from the position of the company or the organization. Will they be able to meet the 8%, which might not really be? So there is need for that compromise. And I think something is going to happen. Today they're going into another meeting. We hope that something can really come out from it.
Before we go into details of that meeting, they're also asking for, SA said they have plans to lay off 900 workers. You have said, look, it might not be, they might not be able to pay the 8% wage increase because of course they've not declared profit for a while. But what about the 900 workers being planned to lay off?
Yes, that is where you see, as a business or management consultant, you don't always just look at the, let's say, the workers alone. What about the operational cost in running the organization? That becomes a fundamental aspect that also needs to be factored in. Will they be able to sustain more workers with a new salary increase? These are some of the issues that the management is busy with, which I doubt if they really will be able to do that.
All right. South Africa already has about 30% unemployment rate. Right now, the economy is not doing so well. when you look at how they've been downgraded over and over again by financial institutions. What would this mean for the South African economy, this strike itself?
Yeah, currently, like we said, if you put the figure that they're actually losing as revenue per day, which is about over 50 million rands, that tells you that that part is just gone. And here we are sitting with unemployment well over 30%. Now, the president had actually been calling for more entrepreneurial people to be given an opportunity. So some laws and some rules have been relaxed, encouraging people to take to entrepreneur, to take to farming. So currently, you can also agree that the crisis of unemployment is everywhere, it's global. So every leader will always look out for a way to help to remedy the economy. How? Encourage small, medium enterprise to continue to at least start, be able to at least feed your family, take care of your immediate. That way you create jobs, that way you create opportunities. I think that's the only best way to go.
South Africa has one of the strongest unions in terms of how much they're able to hold the government to ransom. We've seen them go on strike over and over again over wage pay, and other issues. Looking at that meeting to be held today, what do you see? What do you foresee as the outcome of that meeting?
I strongly believe, in as much as the unions are strong, I will give it to them. They are very united and well coordinated. But I still believe that compromise and some level of shifting grants will be tolerated at this time, because, like the CEO did says, if the ones pushing for the strike are not willing to work, then don't disturb, because over the weekend there were some threats by some of the workers. The cabin crew actually wanted to resume work. They were being threatened by their other colleagues that probably wants to embark on the strike. So what this means is that, one, the unions are actually very well coordinated. They can really go far if they insist on this. But I know government is also at that point of negotiating and trying to see how to get these people to also see things from their perspective. Remember, it's all about dialogues. It's all about negotiation. And I'm sure something positive might come out at the end of the meeting.
All right, Oscar Emetue, many thanks to you for your time.